Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the last discussion of the day, panel discussion on emerging opportunities through securitization and monetization. I would like to invite Megha Manchanda, Assistant Editor, Digital Content, ETInfra, to lead the conversation. Over to you, Megha.
Good evening and a very warm welcome. In today's panel on road monetization, we have with us Mr. Suresh Goyal, Managing Director and CEO, National Highways Infra Investment Managers, and Mr. B.M. Rao, Chief General Manager, Finance, NHAI. I will start with Mr. Suresh Goyal, who needs no introduction in the field of InvIT. So my first question to you would be, sir, that since you spearheaded NHAI's maiden InvIT offering, what are your key takeaways from the experience?
First of all, Megha and Economic Times, thank you for giving us this opportunity to share our thoughts with you. And we wish you all the best for the conference. The NHAI InvIT, I think it was a landmark transaction, not just in the context of monetization, but also the fact that the Government of India and Ministry of Roads, NHAI, are thinking of creating alternate routes for monetization. NHAI, with a strong history of concession management of concessionaires, BOT, HAM projects, etc., built upon this to launch the InvIT. One thing that was unique and very, very pleasing in this experience was that right from the government to NHAI to the InvIT team, etc., were all aligned to see the success, and which we did in the form of being able to raise 8,000 crores for the Government of India last year. And we were able to get marquee investors. So all in all, being the first time, had its challenges, but given the fact that we were all aligned, we were able to achieve success.
If you have any word of advice for the retail segment or the private segment which are planning their InvITs, if you could give some sort of advice to them, what would that be?
I think as a general advice, and this is irrespective of whether this is a public sector InvIT or a private sector InvIT, is that the investment manager and the project management company have a fiduciary responsibility towards the investors. We tend to forget that it is their money that we are managing, and it is their capital that ultimately is being that needs to get a reasonable return on its investment. So I think the only advice I would have for any party wanting to set up an InvIT is that focus on good quality governance, good board, good team, etc. Because this product is to be implemented over a long term, and thereby, if the foundations are good, then the probability of this succeeding and sustaining over for a long period are going to be higher. Particularly the fact that Indian capital markets, as well as Indian savings sector, is going to throw up a lot more capital as we go forward. And that capital would look for opportunities beyond the equity and debt that we are currently used to. So InvITs and REITs have a great future. And if we build it good, build it well, build it strong, then it will be successful over a longer period.
That's right. And InvIT is part of the larger road monetization plan of the NHAI. My next question to you would be for Mr. Rao. Since there were a lot of toll operate transfer or TOT offerings last year, do you feel there is room for more such offerings even in this financial year?
Thank you very much, madam, for inviting me for this ET summit. And actually, we are having, as per the Government of India target, 1.6 lakh crores we have to monetize through asset monetization over a period of FY 24-25. So, as you know, we are having an excellent experience NHA in InvIT, TOT, and securitization also. We have done around, we have raised about, say, 17,000 crores through TOT also. And as Suresh told, we have raised about 8,100 crores in InvIT, and we had experience in securitization also. See, each mode of asset monetization, TOT, InvIT, and securitization, they are having some merits and demerits. So this year, our target is 20,000 crores. 20,000 crores we have to raise through asset monetization. We have already identified around 5,000 kilometers. We had completed the technical due diligence and traffic survey also. Among those stretches, we are selecting some of them for TOT and some of them for InvIT and some of the stretches for securitization also. Yeah, as far as TOT is concerned, you know that TOT 7, we have received around 6,267 crores. We are going to sign the agreement also. And within 2-3 months, that amount will be realized. Once the amount comes, we'll remit to Consolidate Fund of India and it will come back to NHA as a budgetary support. And TOT may already 2 bundles, TOT 9 and TOT 10 already floated. The bid submission date is extended. I think it is around 15th May. We are expecting the bids. In this year also, we are planning for some more rounds of TOT also. And at the same time, we are offering some of the roads. We have identified some of the roads that we are offering to InvIT also. And the third option is that is securitization also. We have identified some 2-3 stretches. We are working on that one. So mostly we may come out within say 2-3 weeks may clarity regarding this one. Already we are having this one. How much we have to go for InvIT, how much we are for TOT and securitization. The approval is under process. Within 1 week, 10 days, we will come out with the figures also.
So, Mr. Rao, will it be possible for you to put a figure to the entire monetization and securitization drive of NHI in FY23?
Yeah, FY23, yes, madam. Our total target is 20,000 crores. These 20,000 crores, we are raising these three types. TOT, InvIT and securitization. These figures internally we have identified how much we have to raise from all these 3 models. It is approval is in the process. Once approval comes, we'll disclose to outside.
That's right. So now you mentioned about securitization as well. My question to you, Mr. Goyal, would be that do you think monetization of road assets can complement securitization of toll as models for revenue generation for the highway sector? Do you see the future in these 2 segments complementing each other, especially?
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at monetization, I would put it akin to a bouquet, right? That one can have a bouquet of only one kind of flowers, or you can make it slightly more beautiful, colorful, and in a financial lingo, one can call it diversification. So if I were to put myself into NHI's shoes, I would want to have all the possible modes of monetization available. The good thing is that ultimately the 3 modes that Rauji spoke about target different set of, I would not say investors because securitization is primarily targeted at lenders, but 3 different capital pools. Now, as a prudent fund manager, what NHI is doing is tapping into all the pools and would have the capability to accelerate or put a brake on depending on which pool is more attractive and where the market is going to go. And I think it's a very, very smart strategy, and I think they should continue to pursue that. I think the only thing that we may have to be mindful of is that the interest rate regime is now, interest rates and inflation is going to be sticky for the next foreseeable future, not just in India, but around the world. And the interest rates are likely to be hardened. So to an extent, which strategy in that scenario would work the best, perhaps would be prudent for us to think about.
Interesting observations. So now, Mr. Rao, that we have seen monetization has been a success in the past, and Mr. Goyal mentioned about the interest rate going up. Do you see that that NHI is going to continue towards monetization and maybe not look at securitization as of now, though they are yet to experiment, they're yet to come out with their maiden securitization model? Do you see with the future interest rates keeping in mind, monetization is going to be the flavor for NHI?
As Suresh just told, this one, yes, interest rates are likely to increase in the future, but one thing we have to keep in mind, madam, this year FY22-23 NHI borrowings are 0. Totally, we are getting the budgetary support from the government. So earlier we used to raise about 65-70,000 crores from the bankers. So bankers ke paas that much amount is available. 65-70,000 crores is available with the bankers to fund NHA. So that is the vacuum is there. So in that vacuum, we want to test the securitization. Because the securitization, our cabinet approval is we have to securitize the toll revenue from participating from the bankers. So the bankers ke paas that much amount is there. So that's why this year we are thinking that that much response will get from the bankers because they are having the capital of 65-70,000 crores.
And securitization, if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, The first model would be experimented on the Delhi-Mumbai Expressway. That the plan is the toll plazas there would be securitized. Is that correct?
Madam, actually, you can say Delhi-Mumbai Expressway is also more or less securitization only. But in that securitization, we have raised the loan from the banks. We have raised the loan from the banks. Total Delhi-Mumbai expenditure capital requirement is about 53,000 crores. Out of 53,000 crores, 48,000 crores we are raising through market. 50% from banks, 50% from capital markets, say, and remaining 5,000 crores NHA is infusing as a equity. So this one after completing the construction, we start collecting the toll revenue. Whereas in the case of securitization, what we are planning during this year, FY 22-23, we want to take up 2-3 roads having the history of say 2 to 3 years toll history. We want to securitize those toll collections, not the under construction projects. That is the huge difference is there. We can say similarly, recently this NHPC has done toll securitization. We can, more or less similar lines we are proposing for by identifying 2-3 stretches during this year.
So again, if I may just ask you, what makes when NHI is deciding whether they are going to opt for the monetization or the securitization model, which are the things, which are the factors that they keep in mind before finalizing any model that they deem fit for the project?
Madam, as Suresh ji told, this one, suppose in case of TOT, entrepreneurs are participating, they are raising the market outside from external, we are getting the funding also. Internally, they are raising the funds from the bankers. In case of InvIT, even through public or private participation, other common investors also can participate. In case of securitization, the bankers can lend it. So there are different types of investors are there. So we have to test it. As Suresh told, the correct example is the bouquet, flower bouquet. If the bouquet contains only one type of flower, it will not be this one. So we want to test all these three. It depends upon the market appetite, different conditions, and type of road also. What are the risks associated with that road? Suppose if any parallel road is coming, any competing road is coming, or if any litigations are there, such type of roads we don't want to offer to others. Suppose if such type of roads are with NHA, NHA can deal such issues. So it depends upon at the time of going for RFP, we are deciding, madam. There are some factors are there, whether this road is of strategic important, low risk is rate, other O&M cost is higher side. Like that, there are some factors are there, madam, to decide the mode of selection.
Right. Mr. Goyal, if I may ask you, you have successfully launched the first round of InvIT for NHI. Second round or the follow-up round, as investors are calling it, is going to be announced soon. There have been some changes that have been made in the past. If I'm not wrong, domestic institutional investors they can also participate in the next round, and so can the retail investors. Do you think that with the broadening of the base of these investors, what kind of advantage does it have for an InvIT offering like NHI?
See, in the second round, currently we are in very advanced stages of discussion with NHAI to put that out into the public domain. I think the first step is going to be for the board of the investment manager, which has been entrusted with the task of ultimately taking decisions, is going to deliberate upon the matter to put out the fundraising strategy. And the fundraising strategy would have 3 components. One is a prudent share of debt that can be taken to part finance the overall acquisition. The second one would be the source of the quantum of capital, equity, and the third one is the source. Now, given that we are ultimately broadly held private listed InvIT, while the word private sounds as if it's private, but we are listed on 2 stock exchanges. We comply with all the disclosure and the regulatory requirement that the SEBI has. Pleasingly, we have 70 plus investors which have invested into the InvIT. And more importantly, I think I must share with you using your platform is that only 50% of our capital raise was from foreign investors, and the balance 50% is from the domestic sources. So we were very careful in ensuring that the domestic pool of capital, which my firm belief is going to become larger and larger over the next 5 to 10 years, gets to participate in this opportunity. In the second round, what we expect is while the final decision on private versus public is not yet taken, and the board will deliberate on the matter and then discuss with the sponsor. But the fact is that we would be offering it to a wider set of investors, because in the first time around, we got fabulous investors, but still there are quite a few other investors who have now become interested in investing into the InvIT now that the first round has happened. The process is set well in motion, the performance is out, etc., etc. So it will be incumbent upon us to ensure that they get a fair and equal opportunity to invest into the InvIT. So what we can assure you through your platform is that it will be coming out soon, as well as it will be available to larger set of investors.
That's right. That's very interesting. And sir, you have not just spearheaded the InvIT of NHI. In your previous role, you have also handled India's first TOT project as well. So when we talk of monetization, I don't think so anybody is better placed than you to actually tell us what are the key elements in these two monetization aspects, which are the biggest takeaways, and what can the other investors or the other authorities which are looking at monetization through these models can learn from these two different set of monetization drivers.
So I think there are three messages that I would want to leave with based on my experience. Is that in my previous role, we have been investors into the road sector since 2012. And we were the first investor at that point in time as an institution to buy majority control of a road project in the country, which then led to a lot more capital that came in. And in fact, large part of infrastructure capital into the country has come into the road sector. Then that led to TOT, and then now to the InvIT. So the three messages based on my experience are: number one, NHI has been extremely consistent in ensuring that the contractual frameworks that underpin that investment are the sanctity of those contracts is maintained, which is extremely important, particularly when you are representing capital, that whatever you are buying into sustains over a period of time, right? And we have seen that all along that's been the case. So both TOT, InvIT, BOT, HAM, all the way through, they have had that. Number two is that the size of the opportunity is quite significant. Like Rauji said, 160,000 crores of monetization. It could vary between the three modes that he spoke about, but whichever way you look at it, the size of the opportunity is quite significant. From a foreign investor perspective and a domestic investor's perspective, larger size of opportunity is better, because then you can make a strategy and implement that strategy over a period of time, rather than just looking at a random opportunity coming up and trying to make an investment. So that's number two. And number three is that overall ecosystem in the country towards operations and maintenance of the roads is getting more and more professional. We had a decade of construction of roads, and a lot of agencies were there to do efficient construction, set out no new records, use new technologies. But now that so much of roads have been built, both in the private sector and with the public sector, which may get monetized, the operations and maintenance, use of technology, professionals, companies which can do O&M professionally, etc., that we are seeing an evolution of those. And this is only going to strengthen from here, which portends well for the sector. So these are the three things that I would leave with you. And I do hope that convinces investors, other stakeholders to look at the sector positively.
Thank you, sir. And I'm sure the retail investors or any investors are eagerly waiting for the second round of InvIT by the NHI. Now, Mr. Rao, if I could ask you to make the closing remarks on the entire monetization and securitization plan of NHI, and what does it look like in the near future, and what can the investors expect from that?
Madam, actually, the monetization is very much required for India-like country. The reason is that we are having so many roads to be laid, and there is a shortage of capital. Instead of waiting for that many years to collect the toll revenue for reinvestment, definitely the asset monetization will help NHA for funding new projects immediately. So that's why these three things we have, these three modes we have selected, madam. But each mode having merits and demerits, and ultimately NHA is committed. Whatever the target is there, 1.6 lakh crores asset monetization over a period of 24-25. We are working on that one, madam. And another thing is, compared to any other organization in India, NHA is a pioneer in asset monetization. Though PGCL has done, they have done for InvIT only. They do not have much experience in TOT and securitization. So we are having all these three, and in balanced way we are moving. And this year, though our target is 20,000 crores to raise the amount, that means we are expecting that much amount we have to receive in NHA books. But we are going to offer more roads also in TOT and InvIT, so that next year 23-24 the amount will be realized, madam.
Right. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for this fruitful discussion on monetization and securitization and the road ahead. We all learned so much from both you guys, and I'm sure the investors are all geared up to tap this segment from NHI needs know the amount of credibility that the agency enjoys actually helps in getting more investors on board for these monetization drives. So thank you once again, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts on this important subject. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Raji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for a wonderful and insightful discussion. Now it's a wrap. Throughout the day, our industry experts and officials from the government shared their knowledge on the topics like land acquisition, advanced engineering and better design, operations and maintenance of roads, safer highways, sustainable materials nurturing net zero environment, modern construction technologies for smart roads, asset securitization and monetization, etc. I, on behalf of ETInfra team, would like to thank all our eminent speakers for bringing such interesting and informative content on the table. My heartfelt thanks to our audience for being here and for making this event trend on social media. Finally, my gratitude goes to a group of partners for showing trust in our concept. Thank you to all of you. Keep the engagement alive on social media using the hashtag ETInfraroads. With that, we'll bring the curtain down. Once again, thank you to all of you. I'm your host, Annie Fatima, signing off. Take care and stay safe.